Good day, everyone. In today's discussion, we will be tackling SDG 11, which is about sustainable cities and communities. To start with, let me highlight the goal of SDG 11. In a world where more than half of the population lives in urban areas, Sustainable Development Goal aims to make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. SDG 11 calls for innovative solutions to transform our cities as it emphasizes sustainable urbanization, ensuring that everyone has access to safe and affordable housing, and upgrading slum settlements. Let's now proceed to its importance. SDG 11 is vital because it aims for sustainable urban planning and access to sustainable transport. Sustainable urban planning aims to renew and plan our cities in a way that offers opportunities for everyone. This means access to basic services, energy, housing, transport, and green public spaces. Another critical aspect of SDG 11 is improving access to safe and sustainable transport systems. This goal emphasizes road safety and expanding public transport, particularly for vulnerable groups like women, children, and elderly, and persons with disability. Now we move on to targets and indicators. Targets and indicators are essential components of the Sustainable Development Goals, providing clear objectives and measurable metrics to track progress. They guide policymakers in addressing urban challenges, foster collaboration among stakeholders, ensure accountability, and promote data-driven decision-making for effective sustainable development. In SDG 11, the United Nations has defined 10 targets and 16 indicators. These targets set clear goals, while the indicators help us track our progress toward achieving them.
Now let's tackle about Target 11.1, which emphasizes ensuring access to safe and affordable housing for all. This includes addressing homelessness and improving housing conditions, especially for marginalized groups. The indicator for this target focuses on the proportion of urban population living in slums, highlighting the need for inclusive urban policies. So moving to Target 11.2, we aim to provide access to safe, affordable, and sustainable transport systems. This target is crucial for enhancing mobility and reducing congestions. Indicators include the share of urban population that has convenient access to public transport, essential for promoting equitable access to services and opportunities. Target 11.3 focuses on enhancing inclusive and sustainable urbanization and participatory planning. This requires local governments to engage communities in urban development processes. Indicators here measures the proportion of cities with formal mechanisms for community engagement in urban planning. Target 11.4 underscores the importance of safeguarding cultural and natural heritage. This includes protecting historical sites and promoting cultural diversity within urban contexts. Indicators assess the number of protected sites and the investment in cultural heritage preservation. Target 11.5 addresses the need to reduce the adverse effects of natural disasters. So, cities must develop disaster risk reduction strategies, especially for vulnerable populations. Key indicators include the number of affected people by disasters and the implementation of disaster risk reduction strategies. Next is Target 11.6, which focuses on minimizing the environmental impact of cities. This includes efficient waste management and air quality improvements. Indicators track the amount of urban solid waste generated per capita and the proportion of urban population exposed to air pollution. Target 11.7 aims to provide universal access to safe, inclusive green and public spaces. Green spaces enhance the quality of urban life and contribute to well-being. Indicators measure the area of public green space per capita and accessibility for all demographics. Moving to targets 11.A to 11.C, target 11.A highlights the need for strong economic, social, and environmental links between urban, peri-urban, and rural areas. This ensures integrated regional development with indicators assessing the connectivity and development disparities between these areas. Target 11.B calls for cities to adopt integrated policies for social inclusion, resource efficiency, and disaster risk reduction. Indicators evaluate the existence of such policies and their effectiveness in promoting sustainable urban development. Finally, Target 11.C, which focuses on supporting least developed countries in building sustainable and resilient cities. This includes financial and technical assistance. So, indicators measure the amount of investment in sustainable urban infrastructure and capacity building initiatives. Achieving these targets requires a concerted effort from the governments, civil society, and the private sector. By fostering sustainable urban development, we can create inclusive cities that enhance the quality of life for all residents. Together, let's delve into the strategies that can ultimately lead us toward these goals.
The Sustainable Development Goals Report 2023. Report on Sustainable Development Goal 11, Sustainable Cities and Communities. The image presents various statistics highlighting key urbanization challenges and efforts toward achieving sustainable cities, with a focus on India and global trends. Global urbanization trends. More than half of humanity currently lives in cities. By 2030, 6 out of 10 people will live in cities. Urbanization in India. By 2030, India will have 7 megacities of populations over 10 million. 31% of the population lives in urban areas. 17% of urban populations live in slums. 13% of urban households do not have sanitary toilets. 62 million tons of waste are generated annually in cities. Environmental and health concerns. 46.4% of total waste generated is recycled, an increase of 5.3 percentage points since 2012. The concentration of particulate matter smaller than 2.5 micrometer is 14.1 micrograms per cubic meter, a 16.1% decrease since 2012. Noise disturbance affects 17.5% of the population, an increase of 1.3 percentage points since 2012. Road accidents claim 4.9 per 100,000 persons, a 12.5% decrease since 2012. Pollution and morality. Pollution-related deaths in 2017 reached over 1.2 million. The world's population reached 8 billion in 2022, over half living in urban areas. This figure is only expected to rise, with 70% of people expected to live in cities by 2050. In 2020, an estimated 1.1 billion urban residents lived in slums or slum-like conditions, and over the next 30 years, an additional 2 billion people are expected to live in such settlements, mostly in developing countries. Cities occupy just 3% of the Earth's land but account for 60 to 80% of energy consumption and 75% of carbon emissions. Approximately 1.1 billion people currently live in slums or slum-like conditions in cities, with 2 billion more expected in the next 30 years. Today, 85% of slum dwellers are concentrated in 3 regions: Central and Southern Asia, 359 million, Eastern and Southeastern Asia, 306 million, and Sub-Saharan Africa, 230 million. Global cities expanded physically faster than their population growth rates, with average annual land consumption rates of 2% compared to population growth rates of 1.6% from 2000 to 2010, and 1.5% compared to 1.2% respectively from 2010 to 2020, according to data from 681 cities between 1990 and 2020.
In this portion, let us discuss the challenges, solutions, and the ways on how to promote SDG 11. Maintaining cities in a way that supports jobs and prosperity while protecting land and resources is a complex challenge. It demands a comprehensive and collaborative approach that addresses economic, social, and environmental dimensions, ultimately leading to sustainable urban development. With this, here are the main issues that SDG 11 face. The first one is congestion, which refers to heavy traffic and crowded public transport. This factor matters as it slows down travel, increases pollution, and can make it hard for people to get to work or access services. Next is the lack of funds for basic services. Without adequate funding, services suffer, leading to lower quality of life and difficulty in attracting businesses and residents. The third one is the shortage of adequate housing. In many urban areas, there isn't enough affordable and quality housing for everyone. This can lead to overcrowding, homelessness, and increased living costs. Fourth is the declining infrastructure. Over time, infrastructures can wear down without proper maintenance. Poor infrastructure can lead to safety hazards, inefficient transport, and higher costs for repairs in the future. And the fifth and the last one is the rising air pollution. Air pollution can harm health, reduce quality of life, and lead to environmental issues that affect everyone. As a response to the presented challenges, let us now discuss the accompanying solutions. Global local government networks such as United Cities and Local Governments or UCLG, Metropolis, Cities Climate Leadership Group or C40, and Local Governments for Sustainability or ICLEI are collaborating under the Global Task Force of Local and Regional Governments. They are advocating for greater recognition of the important role that local and regional governments play in global policy and decision making. As such, they aim to enhance the capacity of local governments to address global challenges such as climate change and sustainable development. In connection to this, the initiatives listed below illustrate how local governments are addressing the challenges associated with SDG 11. First, implementing local solutions to enhance access to essential public services for all. Second, tackling the global housing crisis between informality and gentrification. Third, fighting climate change and reducing disaster risk at the local level. And lastly, making public procurement socially and environmentally responsible. Furthermore, there are also multiple ways to properly promote SDG 11, including its goals and purposes. This includes raising awareness, engaging stakeholders, promoting sustainable transportation, enhancing urban planning, investing in green infrastructure, fostering economic opportunities, strengthening disaster resilience, and monitoring and evaluating progress. In summary, reaching Sustainable Development Goal 11, which aims to create inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable cities and human settlements, is essential for tackling the issues arising from rapid urbanization and climate change. To promote sustainable urban environments, it is vital to emphasize thorough urban planning, invest in public transportation, and improve green spaces. By focusing on these key areas, comprehensive urban planning, public transportation and green investments, and the enhancement of green spaces, cities can work towards a more sustainable future that meets the needs of the growing populations while protecting the environment. As we move forward, let us remember that our cities are not just places to live. They are vibrant ecosystems that can support diverse populations and contribute to a sustainable future. Thank you for joining us in this important discussion. Together, let us make meaningful steps towards transforming our cities into spaces of opportunity and hope.